Hey guys, it is October the 30th, 2024, and I hope everybody's been having a wonderful day so far today. I hope everybody's been having a wonderful week and a half, however long it's been since I really got on here and spoke with you guys. It's been quite a while, and unfortunately, things happened to where I just could not do videos or speak to anybody. It's been a rough time, but at the same time, I'm really lucky, very, very lucky to still be here and be able to talk to you guys. One of my biggest concerns was just making sure that I got better, and I do want to say, first and foremost today, I just want to say thank you so much to all the love that you guys poured out. All the well wishes, prayers, all that stuff. I did like a community post when I was on my way to the hospital, and I looked at the replies that I got to the comments that I got from that, and then I did a little short video and let everybody know that I was in the hospital. And I read through all those comments and liked all those, and then I posted up a video the day after the day of my surgery. And man, it got like 500 something comments. I read through those. It took me a lot of time because it's so hard when you're in the hospital. I barely even got on my phone when I was in there. For one, I was just so out of it. I stayed up all night long, and then when I slept majority of the day. And they're coming in there and taking blood and taking my vitals. It's just non-stop. Giving me medicine. Just I was constantly being not bothered, but I was just constantly being monitored. Things were happening. There are people in there talking to me, doctors in there constantly coming in and speaking to me. I haven't been able to get on and like any of those comments or anything. I will say this much though. My wife was sitting right next to me in the hospital, in one of the recliner chairs, and it was like the next day, or it was after one of the videos I did, and I can't really remember which one it was, but my wife was in tears as she read through the comments. She was just absolutely blown away by the amount of love that I got from you guys, and I have to say my wife was just taken back by it. I could hear her over there like sniffling, and I looked over and she had tears just pouring down her face. And I said, what's wrong? What's going on? And she said, I just can't believe the amount of love that people have given you here. She's so many people. And she said, so many people have said that you've helped them, so many people. She was just completely blown away by it. And, things my wife doesn't watch the videos. Every once in a while I might send her one and say, watch this or something, but she doesn't look at the comments or anything really. This is pretty much my thing. And, but she did look at them that day, and like I said, she was completely blown away. So thank you so much. I got home from the hospital, and when I got home, I already felt pretty bad. Just super tired from the surgery and just being in the hospital in general. And I woke up Saturday morning. Actually, I started because I got home late Thursday. I didn't get home until like 8 o'clock that night, and I just went to bed. Woke up the next morning and kind of just basically just laid around for the day, and got a couple of little things done, like put my clothes away and stuff like that. But I woke up. It was Friday night. I started feeling bad, like exceptionally bad, like worse than I was already feeling. And Saturday morning I woke up and was running a fever. I just could not get warm. My head started feeling all congested, and my lungs felt really, really tight, and I was coughing stuff up, and I went, you gotta be kidding me. I've come down with something, and I obviously got sick from from something in the hospital. I mean, I was around a lot of sick people, and the floor that I was on was not particularly the liver floor. There were other liver patients on the floor that I was on, but it was like an overflow, because that hospital stays really full all the time. They're always at capacity. And where I was at was actually an old children's hospital that they refurbished, and now they're using it for adults. But it's kind of like the overflow for the hospital, and that's where I was placed. So there were other patients up on that floor I was out of that area, and there were a lot of sick people up there. I could hear people hacking and coughing and stuff in the other rooms. I do know there were some other liver patients there, because I could hear the doctors talking to people. But anyway, obviously I came into contact with something, and I ended up getting really sick over the weekend. Just felt absolutely horrible. I was running fever, like I said, and my chest just kept getting worse and worse. And then yesterday morning, well, actually Monday, I spoke with my nurse case manager. And when I was on the phone with her, because she got notified that I was in the hospital, and she went ahead and called, to check. She actually called me on Friday, and I told her I cannot talk. I couldn't. I just felt way too bad. And when she called me on Monday, I said, okay, well, I've already put her off one day, so I'll go ahead and talk to her today. And while I was on the phone with her, she said, you sound horrible. And I told her, I'm not feeling well. And her main concern was, she told me, she said, you could end up being septic from that surgery that you had. And when I was in the procedure, which I'm going to go into detail about all this stuff, it's going to take me probably a week just to talk about all the things that happened. But when I was in the procedure, I know that they gave me 2 grams of antibiotic, because I heard the doctor telling them to go ahead and administer it to him. And when in the very beginning of the procedure, as I was laying there on the table, this is one of those things I've never really experienced before, because I've always been put to sleep before they start doing all this. But I laid there on the table, and all the nurses and everybody were in there, and then they said, okay, go ahead and get the doctor ready. And the doctor came in, and when the doctor came in, they had like it was almost like a roll call, and then they did like I can't remember. My mom told me what it's called, but they started talking about, okay, well, you have the stents there, you have this and that, and then he said, you have the antibiotics here in case we need them as well. And they said, yeah, we do. And he said, okay, and then they went through all the details. They said my name, my date of birth, blah blah blah, what the procedure was they were going to be doing. And everybody agreed, and then they said, okay, let's go ahead and go, proceed with the procedure. And after that's when they went ahead and gave me the injection. And I did fall asleep for just a short period of time, but I could hear them talking about it. And when I woke back up, when I was in the procedure towards the end of my surgery, I heard the doctor say, go ahead and give him the 2 grams of antibiotics. So I do know that they were a bit concerned about me getting an infection from them doing that procedure. So my nurse case manager was concerned about, if I might have gotten an infection from that, and with my health problems and everything. She said, you really need to go to the doctor. So she scared me, and I said, well, the longer we sit here on the phone talking with each other, is longer I can't get in touch with the doctor's office. So as soon as we got off the phone, I'm going to go and call them. So I called my doctor, and they couldn't get me in until the next day because my doctor was out with a family emergency. So yesterday morning, first thing, I went to my doctor's office, and she checked me out and listened to my lungs and all that stuff. And they were worried that it might be pneumonia, which it wasn't. But I do have a upper chest respiratory infection. So my doctor went ahead and prescribed me a Z-Pack So I'm on a Z-Pack. I took my first dose yesterday. You're supposed to take 2 pills on day 1, and then I have to take 1 pill, for the next 4 days, or the next 3 days after today. So I'm really hoping that after today, since, the medications had 2 days to really get in, I'm really hoping that I start to feel better after this, because I'll tell you, you spend a week in the hospital. I was in there for a solid week. I was in there for 7 days, and 7 days in the hospital already will just wear you out. And then, having surgery and all that stuff, it's already hard enough when you come home, just trying to get back to, base level from there. And, I thought I was on my way there, and then next thing you know, I get sick. I'm sorry, my nose just running. But I thought I was on the way there, and then I end up getting sick like this. So it's just been one thing after another. And like I said the other day, if I didn't have bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all. It's always something with me. But that's just the way it works. And I'm not gonna, I'm not getting upset about it or anything like that. It's frustrating. I just want to be back, and back to somewhat of a normal life, and being able to get up and move around and do things like I normally do. Although I don't do a lot, I would like to just be able to get up and be able to go to the bathroom and not be such a hassle to do so, because I'm so tired. And just be able to help my wife with the dishes and stuff like that, because I've put so much on her since all this has happened. My wife, I always help, dishes and cook my kids dinner and stuff like that. And, since I've been gone and since I've been home, I haven't been able to help with anything. I mean, just something as simple as helping take out the trash. I mean, I've just laid in the bed. I've been in the bed now for it's been 2 weeks that I've been in the bed, because all this started, I think Wednesday 2 weeks ago. It was exactly 2 weeks ago when all this began. I had done a bunch of interviews, and I think I'm just going to talk about this, just kind of what happened and led up to me going to the hospital, and I'm going to stop it for today after that. I'd like to try to keep this video around 20 minutes, 12 minutes right now, but I don't think I really told you guys what happened and why I ended up in the hospital. But like I said, 2 weeks ago, it was it was Tuesday or Wednesday 2 weeks ago. I had done a bunch of interviews leading up. I had done the interview with Shades of Clarity, and I did that interview with my old sous chef, Zach, and I spent that whole entire weekend and a couple days before that doing those interviews, and I was really excited because I had gotten myself ahead of the game, and my plan is that I had 5 days worth of material with those 2 interviews. My plan is to turn that into 5 days worth of videos, and then since I was ahead of the game, I was going to go ahead and start sandbagging myself and trying to get ahead. I really wanted to get a week ahead on my videos, so that if something like this was to happen, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, and I could continue to produce content for you guys, and there wouldn't be any lapse in the videos, because I know that this isn't going to be the first or the last time that something like this happens. It's just not, and it's just the nature of the beast. This is reality. And it's these are the cards I was dealt, and it's fine. Once again, I'm not upset about it. I completely understand. But I was just trying to get myself ahead of the game, so that I wouldn't have to do what happened this past week and just go, a week and a half without videos for you guys. I just feel horrible when I can't produce content. Because I know there's so many people out there who do watch the videos every single day, and I want to be able to produce the videos for you guys each and every single day. But like I said, Tuesday or Wednesday, I started feeling really bad, abnormally bad. I just thought maybe because we had that hurricane come through, and you know, it really trashed our property, and I had been spending if I in on top of cleaning up and doing all the work around here, you know, I was doing the videos, and I had to leave every day and drive either to my brother's house, or my friend Sammy's house, or wherever to upload the videos. So that was, you know, taking a big significant chunk out of each one of my days. There was just so much running around that I was doing. I felt like what had happened is I just wore myself out. Because I really was pushing myself far beyond what I should have been doing. I really was. But I really just wanted to make sure I had the content up. And that was one of the biggest reasons that I was super excited about having these interviews. And I was going to start sandbagging so that if something like that did occur again, I'd be ahead of the game, have plenty of videos to be able to upload. And I was going to have them already uploaded to the channel. So all I would have to do is just release them whenever I wanted to, and that of course didn't happen. You know, I'm like editing these videos and putting them up, and yeah, I'm laying in the bed as I'm doing this that Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever, and I felt so bad. It was a chore just to be able to just trying to edit the videos and get them up, and I was sleeping, and I am not the type of person who takes naps during the day. I just don't. I don't like it. It makes me feel gross. I have never liked taking naps during the day. The only time I would sleep during the day is back when I used to drink, and I would get just so drunk I would just fall asleep, and you know, and that made me feel horrible. I just don't like to sleep during the day. There is nothing worse to me than waking up, like falling asleep around like 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, waking up like 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and that afternoon sunlight is coming in the room. It makes me feel horrible. I always wake up like real sweaty and stuff when that happens. So I just don't like it, but I could not keep my eyes open. I just kept sleeping, and I actually had a friend of mine come from out of town to visit, and I think that was like on Thursday or something like that, and that morning they went with me because I had to go have my labs drawn for my GI doctor, and I already wasn't feeling good that day, but I knew I had to go get those labs done, and I figured, hey, now's the best time than ever to go do this because I don't feel well. I already need to go get the labs done. And I didn't have an appointment. I had the orders for the labs to get drawn. So I decided, hey, this is the perfect time. I got my friend with me. I don't have to drive alone. I really prefer not to drive alone because I get sick so often. And, you know, I have so much problems with my blood sugar always dropping or being too high or whatever. So I had somebody with me, and I was like, well, hell, I'm just going to go ahead and go and get my labs drawn. So I went to the laboratory thinking that those labs would have been sent over via email or something. And when I arrived, the lab was like, we don't have any orders for you. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. And it's a 30-minute drive for me to get to that laboratory from my home. And they said, no, we don't have it. You're going to have to bring the actual hard copies of those orders with you. So I had to drive all the way back home, which was 30 minutes back home. So now I've already wasted an hour and a half. Got the labs, and I was really starting to feel bad. And like I said, this was Thursday morning. I arrived at the laboratory at like 10. I didn't get finished because I had to come home, get the paperwork, go back to the laboratory for them to do the labs. They drew all this blood. It was like 10 vials of blood. And once I got done, I decided to go ahead and come back home. And I stopped by my old job before I went home. And as I was there, I started feeling just really, really bad. I met the new chef there and was talking with him. And I went to go visit one of my old friends up there at my old job that I hadn't seen in a while. And after I left my old job, I was going home. I had to stop by the gas station and get some gas. And while I was at the pump filling up the tank, I started feeling like abnormally strange. And got in the car and was like, all right, I'm just going to go ahead and head to the house. And I had a protein shake. I hadn't had anything to eat all morning, and I couldn't eat leading up to having my labs drawn because they wanted everything to be taken while I was fasting. So I thought maybe I just didn't feel well, because I always have a protein shake in the morning for breakfast, and I thought maybe that's what it is. I haven't had a protein shake yet today. So I drank the protein shake as I was driving down the road, and as soon as I finished the protein shake, my mouth started to like salivate like really, really bad. And you guys know what I'm talking about, like right before you're about to get sick. Your mouth will just start to really, really salivate, like, a whole lot. And I spit out the window, and it just kept coming. And that's at that point I knew I better pull over. And I pulled over on the side of the road, and almost got sick. And then decided, okay, I need to hurry up and get back to the house. So drove home. And as soon as I got back to the house, I think it was like almost 1 o'clock when I finally got home. And I told my friend, I said, I'm just going to go lay down. I don't feel well. So I went and laid in my bed. And it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Like I said, I do not sleep during the day. I went and laid in my bed. And it's not like I stayed up super late or anything like that the night before. I mean, I went to bed at like 9:30, 10 o'clock that night. So it's not like I did anything weird for any reason for me to be that tired. There was no change in anything I had been doing other than just trying to, just doing a little bit extra, trying to clean up from hurricane stuff. So I fell asleep, and I slept that whole afternoon. And like all afternoon, I was so out of it, completely out of it, like almost hallucinating. I was like so out of it. I remember a couple points where I like woke up and I didn't quite understand what was going on. I was really confused, and I ended up telling my friend, I just need to go back to sleep and just sleep this off. So they left, and then that night things just started getting really bad. I started feeling like really, really, really bad. At one point, I got like really, really, really cold and started shivering. And my wife brought me in. I asked her to please get me another blanket. So she put another blanket on me. And then I asked her, I was shivering like this, and I had a blanket over my head. And like my whole body was shivering like that. Like all the way down to my toes, I was shivering. I asked my wife to get me a heating pad, so she got me a heating pad. I put that on because my stomach was hurting really bad too. I forgot to mention that. I was having really bad stomach pains. I was extremely nauseated, like to the point where I couldn't even drink anything because it would make me feel like I was going to throw up if I drank something. So I took my nausea medication. That didn't do anything for it. I was also experiencing really, really, really bad indigestion, and that made no sense because I hadn't eaten anything that day. I tried to drink a protein shake. I didn't even finish it, but that was all I'd had that day. That's it, nothing else, and barely anything to drink. So it didn't make any sense to why I was having such bad indigestion, and I could not get it to go away. And I take pantoprazole twice a day. I take 80 milligrams of pantoprazole every single day. I take it in the morning and at night. And I really don't suffer from indigestion that bad usually. But this day was particularly bad. Stuff was coming up my throat. It was horrible. And like I said, I was extremely nauseated. I just could not get anything down. And I just had this really weird, disassociated feeling. I felt like out of my body. It's really hard to describe. It was just a very strange, disassociated feeling, like I was standing outside of my body, kind of looking in at what was going on. I just didn't feel there. people were talking to me, and I just couldn't quite comprehend what people were saying to me, which I would imagine it was encephalopathy setting in. I have not looked at my wife's looked at my labs. I don't know. Nobody ever talked to me about encephalopathy when I was in the hospital. They did give me lactulose when I was in there, so I would imagine that it must have been. But like I said, I was running a fever. I had super bad chills. Like I said, my wife put another blanket on me, so I had 2 comforters on me, a heating blanket on my stomach, and my wife went and got our heater. We have this it's like a fake fireplace heater, and she went and it sits in our bedroom, but she went and took it and set it right beside the bed, plugged it in. It was blowing directly on me. And it's not like it was freezing cold outside during this period of time. It was chilly outside, but not that cold. And our bedroom wasn't that cold either, and I was just freezing cold. I'm freezing cold, I'm running fever, I had a really bad headache, I've got indigestion super bad, and I am so nauseous that I can't eat or drink anything. And I was finally able to fall asleep that night, and about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning I woke up and just started projectile vomiting all over the place. My wife woke up, she heard me, and when I had sat up in the bed and just started throwing up everywhere. It was just a reaction. There was nothing I could do. I just kind of I felt it. I was sleeping, and I started throwing up in my sleep, and I started to choke on it. That's what made me sit up and just start throwing up everywhere. My wife went and got a trash can from the bathroom and set it beside the bed, and then I proceeded to throw up into that. But I threw up the rest of the night. I was very, very, very sick. The next morning, I was so tired. I was passed out, and I'm usually awake at 5 or 6 o'clock every morning. But my wife, she went to leave to go to work, and she tried to wake me up, to see how I was doing. And I must have said, I'll call you later or something. But I was really out of it, and my wife I woke up that morning to a text message from my wife saying, when you wake up, please call me. I didn't wake up that morning until about 10. It's a long story, but I woke up not intentionally, and I went back to sleep. Even after my wife had already said, please call, I saw her message, but I just didn't pay any attention to what was going on. I was really confused. I was so out of it. And I woke up, I think about 12:30, and my wife had gotten home from work, and she was sitting next to me in the bed. And she woke me up. She said, what's going on with you? And I looked at her and I said, something's wrong. Something's terribly wrong. And I had told her the night before that, if things continue to get worse, that it's probably going to be a Charleston visit again. And that's the first thing she asked me when she finally got me to wake up was, what are you thinking? Do you think you need to go to Charleston? And I didn't even hesitate, and I told her, absolutely, I need to go down there today, now. So that's what happened. Went straight down to Charleston. I already had my emergency bag packed. Guys, I cannot tell you how important it is to have an emergency hospital bag. I've done a video on it. I don't remember how far back it is, but please go through and find that video. If you have any health problem, if you're alive right now, you should have an emergency hospital bag. I mean, seriously, because you never know when you're going to have an emergency or something, or one of your family members might have one. You need to have one, because when those times are happening, you're not thinking about, oh, let me make sure I've got my toothbrush. Let me make sure I've got my deodorant. Let me make sure I've got a pair of underwear and 2 pairs of socks. You're not thinking right. You're not thinking about all this kind of stuff. You don't have to have super nice stuff in there. Just get an old pair of underwear, a couple pairs of socks, a pair of jogging pants, a sweatshirt, a t-shirt. Every time you go to the dentist, they always give you one of those little throwaway toothbrushes and a little tube of toothpaste. Take that and put that in your bag. Get one of those when you go to a hotel. They give you a little bar of soap. Get one of those, whatever. Make sure you've got all the essentials in an old backpack. Take one of your kids' old school backpacks from last year, or that backpack that's been sitting in your closet from years ago. Take that out and put all your essentials in there and have it. And don't mess with it. Just leave it in there. And like I said, don't worry about putting clothes in there that you want to wear on a daily basis. Put something in there that you rarely wear, and have it for an emergency. I'm telling you, because I'm so glad I had that, because all I had to do, as I told my wife, grab these couple last articles of clothes for me and put them in the bag. And my wife just went ahead and grabbed what I asked her to get for me, and she put them in the bag. And I asked her to make me a cooler really quick. I wanted to make sure I had a couple protein shakes and a couple ginger ales that I could take with me on the road, because it's a 3-hour long drive. And I didn't want to have to worry about stopping anywhere to get anything. I wanted her to throw me a little bit of fruit in there in case I did get hungry. And that was it. I was on the road right after that. My friend that came down actually drove me down there, and that went straight down. And I arrived in Charleston somewhere around like 4 or 5 o'clock, somewhere around there on Friday. It was the perfect time to get to the emergency room. On the way down, I went ahead and called my doctor, my interventional radiologist, his nurse. I called her and let her know, I'm coming down right now. There's something going wrong. I can't remember if I called her or if I called my pancreatic specialist doctor. Yeah, I called one of my doctor's nurses and let them know and said, can you please go ahead and get the process started, because I'm heading down now. And they said, sure, go ahead. Go to the emergency room when you arrive. Tell them that you've already spoke to your doctor. I said, okay. And like I said, I arrived there at 4 or 5 o'clock that Friday. I've gotten to the hospital on Fridays before, and it's been a cluster. But this time I got there, it was perfect timing. I walked in. At the moment that I walked in, they took me in. They took my vitals. They went ahead and put my bracelet on. And within 30 minutes, I was in the back in the emergency room. Once I got back into the back, I told them everything that was going on with me. I thought that I was in the middle of pancreatitis. I have chronic pancreatitis, fat pancreatitis, so many times at this point. I thought this is what's going on, because I was experiencing really bad stomach pain. My back was hurting me. I was super nauseous, couldn't eat or drink anything. It's just all the signs of pancreatitis. And they said, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and take you for a CAT scan. And I went, had my CAT scan done, came back to the room and laid there, and it wasn't an hour later. The doctor walked in and said, your TIPS is fully occluded, and you are being admitted. And I just broke down right then. That was not what I was expecting to be happening. And as a matter of fact, I had an appointment with my interventional radiologist that Monday. So this would have been called 3 days from that period, but I'm glad that I went when I did, because had I not gotten there when I did, I probably wouldn't be speaking to you guys right now. I spoke with the interventional radiologist, not the next day. I think it was the next day after my procedure. He came in and spoke to me, and not my actual doctor, but one of the other doctors that was in there performing the surgery. My doctor was busy after the procedure. He couldn't come talk to me, so he sent the other guy in to speak to me. And the doctor told me, he said, if you hadn't gotten here when you did, you probably wouldn't be here, because that TIPS had become completely closed off. Um, I thought that the capillaries were allowing the blood to flow through, but the way that that stent was placed in there, those capillaries aren't really working anymore because there's a stent running through, and they grew around that, but they got kind of cut off by the stent. I had a long conversation with the doctor, and what had been going on, I guess, is that it had been getting clogged slowly over time, and it just kind of like happened like last minute. There was just a teeny bit of blood flow flowing through there, um, you know, before I got to the hospital. But like as I like right at when the day they wanted to do the procedure and everything, like it had become completely closed off, which was causing me major pain in my stomach. I can't describe to you guys how bad it hurt. It was horrible. And the lethargy that I was having from it, because I wasn't getting any blood to my liver at all. All the blood in my organs was not able to escape and get back to my liver to be sent back up to my heart, because all the blood in your organs all runs through your portal vein into your liver and then back up to your heart, and the cycle continues. But so all this blood's getting pumped into my intestines, into my stomach, and anytime I would eat or drink anything, blood would rush to my stomach, but it had nowhere to go after that, which was causing me serious problems. And that's what really, in the beginning, what made me notice. Anytime I would eat or drink anything, I was getting excruciating pain, which is kind of normal for me, but not to that extent. It doesn't get that bad. I usually do get a stomachache after I eat or after I drink a protein shake or whatever. But not, I would say the pain level is like a 3 or a 4. On a normal day, I do get pretty bad stomach aches. But we're talking, 7, 8. The level, the pain scale was like a 7 or an 8, maybe a 9 at some points. So, while I was in the emergency room, they went ahead and gave me some pain medicine, got my pain somewhat under control. It still was, my stomach was still killing me. They went ahead and admitted me, and they had to have an ambulance come, because the hospital that I arrived at was Ashley River Tower, and they needed me to go over to the older hospital. So at like 3:45 in the morning, the EMS came, picked me up, and then took me over to the other hospital. And then they took me up to my room. Once I got in my room, got settled down and everything, they gave me some more pain meds, and then I can't remember if I fell asleep or not, but the next morning, I think I might have slept for just a little bit. The next morning, the doctors came in and spoke to me, and they said, we're going to have to do surgery. We're going to have to go in there and clean out that tips if we can. And now, at this point, now it's Saturday. In interventional radiology, they're there on the weekend, but they're not there. They'll do an emergency surgery if need be, but interventional radiology, the staff is not really there on the weekends. They work on weekdays. And like I said, my doctor was supposed to I was supposed to go have my CAT scan done and then speak to my doctor Monday morning. So I was supposed to have my CAT scans done at 8 a.m. and my appointment with him was at like 10:30 or 11. He was in clinicals all day long doing just that, meeting with patients in the office. So he could not perform my surgery that weekend because he was off. There was an on-call doctor there. But I did not want to have my surgery performed by that on-call doctor. First of all, he wasn't there for my TIPS procedure. My doctor, my interventional radiologist, Dr. Guyed, was there for the second placement of my TIPS. And this is the doctor that my original interventional radiologist, when he left the hospital, said, "This guy is the guy I want you to have. I trust him with my life. He is the best. And he was there for your tips. He knows how complicated it was. He helped route the tips. So he's the guy I want you to have. So I told the hospitalist, I don't want to have my procedure done this weekend if at all possible. I really would like to wait for my doctor to perform the procedure. So they started me on a heparin drip to start trying to break that clot. And that was a whole to-do in itself, trying to get the level back therapeutic. And they must have been able to break through the clot to a certain extent because, I made it through the weekend. Or whatever. I don't know how things worked out, to be honest with you. I just know they were able to keep me alive for the weekend. They were checking my lactase numbers and my liver numbers throughout the whole weekend. They were doing it they didn't check my liver numbers as often, but they were checking my lactase numbers over and over and over again. Every hour they were checking my lactase numbers. And that was a whole to-do in itself because every time they take it, they had to put it on ice. And some of the nurses would forget to put the sample on ice, and then they have to come back and take it again. And then I was having all these problems when they would take my blood. It kept coming back as clotted. Come to find, I've got some serious clotting issues going on. I guess it's because of the problems with my liver health. So a lot of the times they would take blood, they would have to come back and take it again, and they'd say, "Sorry, but your results came back clotted." I don't understand what all that is, but they were having serious issues with it. Long story short, they couldn't. My doctor was in clinicals all day Monday, and they came and spoke to me that Monday. Every day I was MPO every day. I wasn't allowed to eat or drink because they're like, if your lactase numbers come back and they're elevated more than what they are right now, we're gonna have to perform emergency surgery right away. So I was like, okay. So I would be MPO all the way up until 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. And then they would say, okay, you're allowed to eat and drink up until midnight. The best part about all of this is that I didn't know this until I got to the hospital. And it's one of the reasons I wanted to go to the hospital is because when you have pancreatitis, getting fluids is very important. I've spoken about this before, but when they bolus you with a couple bags of fluid, it will really help alleviate a lot of the symptoms of pancreatitis. And you can't eat and drink when you're in the middle of pancreatitis. So I wanted to go to get on fluids for one. The first thing they told me, because I asked, can I please go ahead and get on a bag? They said, we're sorry, but we're not giving bags to anyone unless it is absolutely necessary. And the Hurricane Helene, when it went through and ravaged North Carolina, one of the factories where they make the saline bags is one of the only factories in the United States that creates those saline bags is in Asheville, North Carolina. It got destroyed from the hurricane. And so their backup plan, the other place they get the bags from is, guess where? It's in Florida. And I can't remember the name of the other hurricane that just came through, the one that started with an M. That hurricane destroyed that place. So all the hospitals right now are on a shortage. They said that they're getting 40%. There must be another place that they're getting these from where there's a big storage facility, but they're getting 40% of the amount that they normally would get. So the whole time I'm in the hospital, I'm MPO, and I'm not getting a bag. So I'm really dehydrated. I'm throwing up and all this stuff. I'm super dehydrated, and I can't even get on a bag. I didn't get placed on a bag the whole entire time I was in there. Now, I was on a heparin drip, and I was on a constant heparin drip. From what I understand, there's dextrose in that. I don't know if there's any. I would imagine there's some saline solution in that because it's not all just heparin. So there's got to be some water mixed in because it's not a huge bag, but I mean it's a decent size, maybe a pint or something. But that's all the fluids that I was getting. It just made everything just so much worse. I'm super dehydrated on top of it. I can't eat or drink, and I'm already worried sick because I know I've got to go back into surgery and have them go in and try to clean out that tips. which they were able to do. And I'm going to talk more and more about this tomorrow and the next following days. And I'm at 45 minutes right now, so I've got to get off of here. I really wanted to hop on here today and just let you guys know that I'm okay. I've just gotten sick. I'm hoping to feel better by tomorrow. I really was planning on doing like a 15-20 minute video, and here I am 45 minutes in. I just don't know when to shut up. But the thing is that I do have a lot to talk about. I did take some serious lessons away from this trip to the hospital. Anytime that I have something like this happen, I use that as a learning experience. And if I don't take something away from it, then what's the point? And I'm going to talk about that probably in tomorrow's video. The 2 lessons that I learned from this, that I'm telling you guys, this experience changed my life for the better. I already had, I was already heading in this direction anyway, to what I'm going to talk about, but it completely changed my outlook on life. I mean, it really did. And I already, like I said, I already had a changed outlook already, but I am set in cement on this. I am completely changed on my outlook in life. Yeah, I really, really am now. You just never know when things like this are going to happen. It's not like I got any warning signs. It was like, I was feeling a little crappy leading up to, days before. And I had gotten sick, really and honestly with you guys, about 2 weeks leading up to this. Which I'm going to go into more about it, but I wasn't talking about it. I wasn't feeling well. I ended up getting pancreatitis and kind of had an idea what was going on. I tried to take care of myself and I tried not to eat and drink too much, and I tried to get rest, but I never allowed myself to get the rest and kept pushing myself more and more and more. But I'm going to go into that. I found out after the fact that I did have pancreatitis a couple weeks ago, which led to the clotting, which led to everything else happening. And I didn't take care of it. I should have went to the daggum doctor immediately, and I didn't. If you don't learn something from these bad experiences, then what's the point? And I did. I really, really did. I will never allow that to happen again. It's just me being myself and pushing myself too hard. I was just talking with somebody yesterday. Anything I do in life, it's just like drugs and alcohol. I do it to the extreme. I pour myself into it all the way. It's all or nothing for me. There is no like middle ground with me. It's pedal to the metal or it's all brakes for me. I don't know how to drive 45 miles an hour. It's like 160 miles an hour or I'm stopped. And I've been like that my whole entire life, and I finally realized I gotta slow down, and I've got to start listening to my body, paying attention to what's going on with me, and giving myself ample time to rest. I've got to make sure that I'm resting when I'm tired and taking care of myself better. I've been given this second opportunity to live. Now, I don't know how many chances I've got. The tips was like what I've always said was like my second chance, but now I've had so many chances given to me. I've really got to take advantage of these chances I've been given and just do a better job taking care of myself. If I don't feel well, I need to rest. If I'm tired, I need to rest. If I've got a headache, I need to chill out. I need to stop worrying about all this stuff and just trying to be Superman. I'm not invincible. And I think, I started getting this, like, not mentality, but it'd been so long since I've been hospitalized, for a period of time that I guess I just kind of, like, pushed it out of my mind. Kind of had this idea like I was, like, getting better or something. Maybe I wasn't gonna end up getting sick again. I don't know what was going through my head. I wasn't thinking is what was going on. and just got a little bit too big for my britches and ended up back in the hospital again. But once again, I'm going to talk more about this, go into detail. I'm going to tell you guys what I learned. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. I really hope that you guys watch. If you've hung around all the way through this long of my video, I really do appreciate it. I'm sorry I went so long. I've got so many things to talk about with you guys. I'm so excited to be back and talking with you guys again. I'm going to go ahead and hop off of here for today. Guys, if you are thinking about having that drink, please heed my warning. Get it out of your head. It's not worth it. It really is not. Because the health consequences that come around with drinking is poison. Alcohol is poison. It does not serve us any benefit at all. It is a type 1 carcinogen. It destroys all of our organs. There is not one part of our body that alcohol does not affect. It can break through any cell. It does not matter. It's water, fat, soluble. It does not matter. It gets through the blood-brain barrier. I mean, once you consume alcohol, it just starts going through everything. And, just the damage that it does on our stomach, our esophagus, our pancreas, our liver, our kidneys, just our organs in general, not to mention our brains, our skin. Guys, alcohol does nothing but destroy. And I know if you're thinking about that drink where you're thinking, well, I'm just going to have I'm just going to drink for today. Well, and I won't drink tomorrow. Trust me when I tell you, because I told myself that every single day for years, for decades. I kept telling myself that. Tomorrow never came, and tomorrow will never come. It doesn't work that way. We can't just drink for a day, or drink for a week, or just drink for a weekend. Once we pick that drink up, the cycle begins again. If you have quit drinking for any period of time, just don't do it. I promise you it's just not worth it. That little bit of time that you get of feeling relaxed is not worth the amount of time that you're going to be feeling really unrelaxed when you're laying there in the hospital and they're telling you, you can't have anything to eat or drink. And it's been 3 days and your mouth is so dry that you can barely even talk. Just trust me when I tell you. But guys, once again, push it out of your head. Don't do it. And if you're watching this video and if you're thinking about quitting drinking, it's the best decision you will ever make in your life. But if you are thinking about doing so, talk to a doctor, because stopping alcohol or benzodiazepines abruptly can take your life. It can cause all kinds of health problems if you do so. Speak to a doctor. They might help you through with a medical detox. Let your doctor make that decision. Just don't make that decision on your own. And the thing is with it too is that if you stop abruptly, most of the time, when you have problems, it's not like that day. It happens like 2 days, 3 days down the road before like the really bad stuff, like the seizures and stuff, will start to happen to you. So, if you decide, oh, I'm going to stop today, and then the next day you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, I'm okay. You're not out of the woods yet. It could be another day or two before, things happen, and next thing you know, you find yourself, we're waking up in a hospital bed because you had a seizure. So just, if you're thinking about quitting, speak to a doctor, but it will be the best decision you've ever made in your life, and it is possible. And if you have quit, and those thoughts are going through your mind, you're thinking about this weekend, I've got this wedding coming up, and I sure could, have a couple beers just to relax and, feel a little bit more comfortable around those people. Hey, trust me, I don't like being around a lot of people either. I don't feel comfortable in those situations, like most of us don't. Or getting up and speaking in front of a bunch of people. It's just not natural to us. Nobody feels comfortable in those situations. I've heard so many famous people say, I just saw a thing the other day. It said 50 Cent, the rapper, said that he still gets nervous every single time he gets up on stage. And this guy's been doing this stuff since the early 2000s. I mean, think about it. I mean, we're talking 20-something years this guy's been getting up on stage, and he still gets nervous. It's not natural for us to get up and stand in front of a whole group of people like that. So everybody gets anxious or nervous. Everybody has some sort of anxiety. Some of us have it a little worse than others. Alcohol is not is not the key. It's not going to solve your problems. It's only going to create more problems. Trust me when I tell you, don't do it. Forget about it. Move on. But guys, that's it for today. I'm going to go ahead and get off here. This video is almost an hour long. I will see you guys tomorrow. I promise I'm going to be back every single day speaking with you guys. I love y'all so much. Thank you so much for all the support, all the love that you guys gave me, and for everybody that prayed for me. I saw people saying, you know, I'm not even religious, but I prayed for you last night. Or I saw one, you know, I'm not religious at all, but I lit a candle for you. And man, those things work. You know, it really does. And I can't thank you guys enough for every single thing that y'all did for me, especially the prayers and just the positive vibes that you guys gave to me. I could feel it while I was in there, y'all. I really, really could. And I knew that I had so many people, an army of people behind me. That's what helped push me along. It really is. My family and you guys. I had to be able to come back to be able to speak to you guys again. I'm not done yet. I have so much more work to do. And I hope to be able to continue to do this for years to come. I want to continue to try to help people. And I'm going to do so. So, guys, I'll see y'all back tomorrow. I'm going to talk about the things that I learned while I was in the hospital. Pretty important stuff. And once again, love you guys so much. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.